Now it's time to understand Jupiter in Gemini in the 9th house. This is the 4th installment in my series on Jupiter in the 9th house in all the zodiac signs. We started off in the first episode by getting a general interpretive template for Jupiter in the 9th house overall. And we said it indicates somebody that's very, very driven by what they believe in. They're very driven by their ethics and their beliefs. Also, it's somebody who's very, very intelligent and able to teach and lead others. And finally, it's somebody who's very prosperous and fruitful and productive. Now, let's take that template and apply it to the specific case of Jupiter being in Gemini when it's in the 9th house. If Jupiter is in Gemini in the 9th house and you're using the whole sign house system, which I absolutely recommend, then Jupiter must be the 3rd and the 6th lord. Because if Gemini is the 9th house, then Pisces must be the 6th and Sagittarius must be the 3rd. So what does it mean if the 3rd and the 6th lord are in the 9th house? Well, this indicates somebody, first of all, who is quite calculative. They're intelligent because they're combining the 3rd and the 9th and the 6th. It's a practical intelligence that knows how to get what it wants and get around anything that stands in its way. It knows how to solve problems. And it indicates somebody who has a lot of strength. The 3rd and the 6th are the same lord. So they're getting a lot of strength by putting that lord in the 9th house. So they'll be very tenacious and very dedicated to their work. Now that we know this about Jupiter and Gemini in the 9th house, let's take the other things that we know. So for example, what does Jupiter in Gemini itself signify? Well, there's a whole video already on my channel about that if you want the details. But for now, here's the summary. Jupiter in Gemini indicates likability. Jupiter in Gemini indicates expressiveness and inventiveness, inventive intellect. And now how about Jupiter in the 9th? Well, that's what we just talked about. So now we have our 3 columns of things that we know about Jupiter in the 9th house in Gemini. To really figure out what it symbolizes, we just need to look at these 3 columns and see where they're on the same page. So for example, Jupiter in the 9th was very intelligent. It was a natural teacher. And the 3rd and 6th lord in the 9th house is very intelligent. And Jupiter in Gemini is very intelligent, it's very inventive. So all 3 of these are lining up to say that Jupiter in Gemini in the 9th house is certainly quite intelligent, especially in solving problems in inventive ways, coming up with new solutions to problems that either were solved in not such a great way or not even solved. Another thing is that Jupiter in the 9th was very dedicated to its values. And the 3rd and the 6th lord in the 9th is also very dedicated and tenacious. So if Jupiter is in Gemini in the 9th house, the person is very, very dedicated. And they're very, very ethically driven or morally driven. Finally, Jupiter in the 9th house is very, very fruitful. And Jupiter in Gemini is very, very likable. So fruitful means attractive as a mate. And likable means likable. So Jupiter in Gemini in the 9th house, the person is even more likable than you would otherwise expect from just the fact that Jupiter is in the 9th. Now, who's a well-known person with Jupiter and Gemini in the 9th house? Felix Bloch. Who's Felix Bloch? Felix Bloch is a very, very important physicist. Is he intelligent? Very. Is he ethical and dedicated? Yes, very. How dedicated? Obviously, he's very dedicated. People don't become important physicists without being extremely dedicated. However, he has a particular thing about him is that he declined to keep working on the nuclear bomb in World War II because of his ethical feelings about how it was going to be used. Instead, he went and developed a nuclear magnetic resonance, which is the basic technology that we use these days in the very important medical field of MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. So he was very ethically driven, and he wanted his science to contribute to, more medical approaches than to military applications. Is he a very likable person? Well, actually, he's quite a handsome lad. However, you have to admit that Felix Bloch is a lot more intelligent than you really ought to expect from just having Jupiter and Gemini in the ninth house. There's got to be a lot of other stuff going on. So why is it that he is so smart? Yeah, sure, Jupiter and Gemini in the ninth house is a very smart person, but why Felix Bloch? Well, his fifth lord, the lord of intelligence, is in the fifth house in 2 Raja Yogas, while amplified by being on the Rahu-Ketu axis. The first Raja Yoga is the fact that it's an angular lord in a trinal house with a node. And the second Raja Yoga is that it's a trinal lord with the fifth lord with the 10th lord, an angular lord, in the fifth house, which makes it even better. So he's got 2 very, very significant Raja Yogas lighting up his fifth house, the house of intellect. Understand the whole context of your chart, the soil in which your interpretive seeds grow, then visit my website, vicdecara.com, and click Readings. My complete chart report explains each and every nook and cranny of your chart and will keep you occupied in self-discovery for years. I also have 2 groundbreaking new reports. The first of these, Your Nakshatra, organizes your active nakshatras in order of their importance to you and presents the fundamental interpretations for the planets that occupy them. And the newest report, Star Strength, uses a system called Tarahabala to unfold 90 interpretations of the nuanced relationships between all the planets in your chart, which paints a rich and detailed picture of how your various strengths cooperate or compete with each other. Order these or any of my reports and accelerate your journey to deeper self-understanding.